Sony, let me also ask you to be a true giver. What mistakes, what marketing mistakes do the startups make, and how can they avoid such marketing mistakes?
Um, yes, I think Amit, I got to share some important or some interesting facts about first is when we start a business. Okay, it is most important is learning from your mistake. And essentially, when I started my firm, my marketing agency, I miserably failed. I miserably failed in a couple of occasions, and as to what I mean, how do I start? Where did I go wrong? My preparedness was so well, and my confidence is going. My passion has been driving, but why did it not work? Right? I think over the period of time, Amit, I got to learn a lot of things, through introspection as to where did I go wrong, okay, and then creating a kind of bucket list, okay. As a matter of fact, whatever that I do, I maintain a entire checklist of information in my diary as to for this business, this is what I did good, this is what I should not have done, this I will make sure I do not repeat that, okay. So, taking an inspiration from what I do, I usually work or I only work the talk. So, when I meet startups, and Amit, as I've just made it very loud and clear, the criteria on which I support startups and I mentor them, and I make sure that it becomes a very conversational approach to them, Amit. First is understanding, is that the mistake or is that something that just was an ignorance, right? So when I meet a startup, when I meet a passionate founder, if I try to understand the entire aspect of the business based on the three criteria that I just mentioned to you. Because mistake is something, either it is accidental or is either it is on purpose. So first we got to understand the reason of that mistake. Why did he or she did that mistake? And what is the impact of that mistake? Whether it is financial, whether it is, related to the business, the operations, and the entire aspect of it. Okay. The first and foremost mistake that every startup does is first, they have a lot of passion, but they forget the fundamentals. They forget the basics. Okay. And the record keeping, the documentation part. First, when we start a business, okay, when I started in 2015, Amit, I think the entire conversation of entrepreneurship was growing, but there were very limited incubation centers, very limited, organizations, and very limited support from the government. Like, now you call Startup Odisha, Startup Delhi, Startup India. It was just on the founding phase. But the biggest mistake that every startup does is not reaching out. Okay, now every information is available. Like LinkedIn, if you browse through LinkedIn, you'll get a list of information. And first and foremost is, have I done my market study? Am I sure what product I have? Is my preparedness worth a while? Am I very sure that is this what I would like to do for the rest of my life? Right? So couple of things that we have to keep in my mind. Make sure that I take learning from every single day and make sure that what kind of the kind of mistakes that I did or mistakes that a startup did, what was in purpose or it was an accident, and giving them the entire strategy and understanding around it.
That's a great piece of advice, Sony. I think one of the very important takeaway from here was that do not forget your basics. I think working on the basics and making sure the message is clear, succinct, and it goes across well, it hits the matter, it hits the nail is very important. Thank you for bringing the point home, hammering the point home. Thank you so much, Sony. Now